everybody, and welcome back once again to Let's Play Skyrim, of course, the Dragonborn DLC. So as we left off in the last session, we were here at Tel Mithrin, having just done a few bits and bats, nothing major. We reported back to Master Neloth about the spell effects that he put on us, and we managed to sort out the withering part of the tower. We got the taproots finally, soaked them in the headwaters of the Harstrand, and all was bright and rosy. So we start today's session here, where we are heading, as you can see, towards that flapping dragon over there. Why are you heading towards a flapping dragon, you might say? Specifically the last session where we ran away from the damn thing. Well, we're soon going to find out, aren't we? We're soon going to find out. Here it comes. Here it comes. And, yes, here I come. Because apparently I have level 3 of the Bend Will Shout, and I was going to be in for a little surprise when he uses it. In fact, I'm going to be in for a bloody surprise. Because I've been informed that you can ride dragons. Can you imagine that? Imagine if it's good enough for Mirak, it's good enough for Elwynn. Eh? Come on, you great beast. Come on. There we go. Oh, it's causing a rumpus now. Shrieking and wailing. I think he knows his doom is imminent. Stay away from the wild boars, like, but come on. Come on, Bertha. I'm here. There we go. Now we're off and running. Right, land, you great winged beast. Land. Stop. Land. Here he comes. Here he comes. Now get your backside down here. I want to ride you. Did that work or not? Come here, you bloody flapping clown.
Hail, Fury. Shall we fly together?
Yes, we'll fly. Oh, thank you to whoever told me about this. I'm off flapping, Berlina. See ya. Where are we flying to? Oh my goodness me. When riding a dragon, you can lock onto a nearby target and attack it with magic. You can also command the dragon to attack your target. Fast travel while riding the dragon by using your world map. For more detailed information, see the help section of the main menu. So you can lock onto a nearby target and attack it with magic. And you can fast travel using your dragon. How long do you keep this dragon for? Forever? We are flying on a dragon. Diddly-dee-dee-dee-dee. Of course, Elwynn's flown on a dragon before. It's nothing new. But, well, gotta say, it might not be anything new, but it's a fun experience. Free as a bird in the sky. Poor Berlina has been left for dust here. I mean, sorry, Berlina, only room for one. So yes, we can fly on a dragon. I mean, I don't know if it's going to serve a major purpose. It's more of a party trick. More of a party trick more than anything. But it's nice. As time passes on, it's 3 PM, I think we could do this all day. Dee dee dee. Although it's making me feel a bit dizzy now. If we could control the dragon it would be great, but he just seems to be flapping his own direction. Staying in this sort of locale. But yeah. When Elwynn wants to pass a bit of time and he's got nothing else better to do with himself, find a dragon and go for a quick spin. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the fast travel feature. Seeing as we can't control the great beast, we are going to be heading this session towards, not too far away actually, the Ramshackle trading post. Because apparently this is a trading post where we found that note about being here at midnight. So Elwynn is going to sit up here, set up shop, and wait till midnight. And whilst he's waiting, he might just read another episode of the Poison Song to pass the time. Ah, here we are. Look. How do we get off? That's the next question. How do we get off? B? No, how do we get off? Seriously.
I will look for a spot to land.
Oh, there we go. Thank you, great dragon. Your services have been much appreciated. And, don't cause too much trouble now. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. We rode a dragon. He's not going to attack me now, is he, all of a sudden? He's forgotten about me already. Okay. So here is the ramshackle trading post. It's 3:30 PM. Hopefully Brelina will make her way. I'm a bit worried about Brelina. Nah, he's my beast now. He's my bitch now. Pardon the phrase. Right, so yes, this is the place where we need to be at midnight. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up shop here. We're just going to chill out, take a seat, wait for Brelina to arrive, and we'll read an episode of the Poison Song, whilst our good friend is keeping us safe.
These are me.
Look, he's talking to us. What's he saying? What do you say? Don't worry, I'm just reading a book. Godspeed. Just reading. Oh, bless him. I think he likes me. Oh, we've got some wine here as well. It might not be spiced wine, but well, it's the next best thing. Wine and a book in a ramshackle trading post after just riding a dragon. I mean, talk about a great day. Is that my hand? Kind of off-putting. My big hand was just in the middle of the screen there. Yeah. Ah, there we go, it's better. So, yeah. Wine, book, riding a dragon, all in a day's work. Marvellous. Anyway, let's get into reading, shall we? Now, where did we get to? I think we got to the Poison Song Book 4. So here we go. Was it Book 4? No, we've read that one. It's Book 5. So we found out that Tay's girlfriend was also a House Dagoth member, potentially his sister. I think was the consensus there, and he killed his former maid and set fire, and he's killed somebody else as well. He's basically doing a lot of killing, this guy, isn't he? For 2 days, the house healers attended Tay in his bed. Oh yeah, and he jumped off the cliff, didn't he? He jumped off the cliff and washed up ashore back at his home is where he grew up. So here we go. For 2 days, the house healers attended Tay in his bed, and Baynara sat by his side, holding his hand. He was feverish, neither asleep nor awake, screaming at invisible phantoms. The healers complimented the young man's fortitude. Bodies had washed ashore on the island of Gorn several times, many during the war, but never once had they seen one that lived afterwards. Aunt Ulia came in several times to bring Baynara food. "You must be careful, dear, or when he's all well, he'll have to attend you on your sickbed." Tay's fever broke, and at last he was able to open his eyes and see the young woman with whom he had spent 17 years, all but the first year of his life. She smiled at him and called for food. In silence, she helped him eat. "I knew you wouldn't die, cousin," she whispered fondly. "I hoped to, but somehow I knew I wouldn't either," he groaned. "Baynara, do you remember all those nightmares I told you about? They're all true. We could talk about it when you've rested some more." "No," he croaked. "I must tell you everything now, so you'll know what kind of a monster you call your dear cousin Tay. If there was some way you could have known before, you might not have been so eager to see me well again." A tear rolled Baynara's cheek. She had grown into a beauty, even in the few months he had been away in Mournhold. "How can you think I would stop loving you, no matter what you've done?" "I saw my old nursemaid, Edaba, and spoke to her." "Oh!" Baynara had feared this moment. Tay, I don't know what she told you, but it was all my fault. You remember when Kina Gafrisi taught us about the House Dagoth and its corruption? That night I saw your nursemaid making some kind of altar out on the north lawn, using the symbol of the 6th house. She must have been doing it for years, but I never knew what it meant. I told Uncle Triffith, and he sent her away. I've wanted to tell you so many times now, but I was afraid to. She was so devoted to you. Tay smiled. And didn't it frighten you even more to wonder if there was any connection between her devotion to me and her devotion to the accursed house? I know you, Baynara. You're not one of those women who doesn't choose to use her mind. Tay, I don't know what she told you, but I think she was very troubled, and whatever she thought about you and the 6th house was wrong. You have to remember that. The ramblings of one mad woman are proof of nothing. There's more, Tay sighed, and held up his hand. For a moment he blinked, and then turned to Baynara angrily. What happened to my ring? If you saw it, you must have known already that everything I'm saying to you is true. I threw the filthy thing away. Baynara stood up. Tay, I'm going to let you rest now. I am the heir of House Dagoth. Tay was wild-eyed, almost screaming. Raised after the war as House Indiril, but driven by the song of my ancestors. When we were young, I killed Vasta, because the song told me he had stolen my inheritance. When Edinburgh told me who I was, and gave me this ring, I killed her and burned her house to the ground because the song told me she had served her purpose. When I returned to Calcaris' house, my love was there, telling me that she was of House Dagoth, too, and my sister. I fled, and when Calcarif tried to stop me, I slew him because the song told me he was an enemy. Tay, stop! Baynara sobbed. I don't believe a word of it. You've been feverish. Not Tay. He shook his head, breathing heavily. The name my parents gave me was Dagoth Tython. You can't have killed Edinburgh. You loved Avasta, Calcarith. They were our cousins. They were not my true cousins, Tay said coldly. The song told me they were my foes, just as it's telling me now that you're my foe. But I won't listen, and I'll keep from listening, as long as I can. Baynara fled from the room, slamming the door behind her. She took a key from her startled maid Halima and secured the lock. Sir Joinderil Baynara? Halima whispered, with great sympathy. Is all well with your cousin, Sir Joinderil Tay? He'll be perfectly fine once he rests. Baynara recovered her dignity, wiping the tears from her face. No one is to disturb him under any circumstances. I'll take the key with me. Now I have much work to do. I don't suppose anyone's spoken to the fishermen about restocking Sandal House's supplies? I don't know, Sergio, said the maid. I don't think so. Baynara marched down to the docks and relieved her troubled heart the only way she knew how, by concentrating on small things. Tay's words never left her, but she found temporary comfort talking to the fishermen about their haul, helping determine how much should be smoked, how much should be sent to the village, how much should be delivered fresh to the house larder. Her Aunt Ulia joined the discussion, oblivious to Baynara's well-disguised agony. Together, they discussed how many provisions Uncle Triffith and his commandos had devoured during their weeks on the island, when they would be expected to return, and how best to prepare. One of the fishermen on the docks called out, interrupting. A boat is coming! Ulia and Baynara greeted the visitor as she arrived. It was a young woman dressed in the robes of a temple priestess. Oh, we know who this is, don't we? As she docked her small boat, Baynara marvelled at how beautiful she was, and strangely familiar. Welcome to Gorn, said Baynara. I am Indiril Baynara, and this is my aunt Indiril Ulia. Have we met before? I don't believe so, Sergio, the woman bowed. I was sent by the temple to inquire whether word has come from your cousin, Indiril Tay. He has been missing from his classes for some days now, and the priests have become concerned. Oh, we should have sent word, Ulia fretted. He came here a few days ago, half drowned. He's better now. Let us escort you up to the house. Tay's resting now, and I asked that he not be disturbed, Baynara stammered. Actually, I know his dreadful manners, but I need to talk to my aunt for a moment. Would it be too terrible if I asked you to wait for us at the house? You have only to follow the path up the hill and across the lawn. The priestess bowed again humbly and began to walk. Ulia was scandalized. You know better than to treat a representative of the temple that way, she snapped. You can't be so exhausted from tending your cousin to have lost all sense of civility. Aunt Ulia, Baynara whispered, drawing the woman away from the ears of the fisherman. Is Tay truly my cousin? He believes himself to be of the house Dagoth. Ulia took a moment to respond. It's true. You were just a baby yourself during the war, so you couldn't know what it was like. There was not a part of Morrowind that wasn't ravaged. There was even a battle here, on the island. Do you remember that burned pile of wreckage you and Tay and poor little Vasta discovered so many years ago? That was the remains. And after the war, when that accursed house was finally defeated, we saw the little innocents, the orphans whose only crime had been born to wicked parents. I admit there were some in our armies, the combined forces of the houses, who would have had them all slaughtered to annihilate the legacy of Dagoth. In the end, compassion prevailed, and the children of the sixth house were adopted into the other five, and so we thought that we had won the war and the peace. By the mother, lord, and wizard! If all that Tay believes is true, then there is no peace. Baynara trembled. He claims that the song of his ancestors called to him and forced him to slay 3 people. 2 of them our housemen, cousin Calcarith and, when he was a little boy, Vasta. Ulia held her hands over her tearful face and could not speak. And it is only beginning, said Baynara. The song still calls to him. He said there were others who knew, who would help him raise up the 6th house, his sister. It must be an evil fantasy, Ulia murmured. She noticed that Baynara's gaze was now upon the path leading from the docks towards the house. Niece, what are you thinking? Did that priestess give us her name? The 2 women ran up the path, calling for guards. The fishermen, who had never seen the mistresses of the house so undone, looked briefly at one another and then followed quickly behind, pulling out their hooks and blades. The front gate to Sandal House stood wide open, the first of the corpses lying close within. It was now an abattoir, painted fresh with blood. There was Aina, Uncle Triffus' valet, gutted but still seated at the foyer table where he had been enjoying his afternoon glass of Flynn. Lern, one of the chambermaids, had been decapitated while carrying some once clean linens up the stairs. The bodies of guards and servants sprawled about the hall like blown leaves. At the top of the stairs, Baynara had to hold back a sob when she saw Halima. She lay like a broken doll, slain as she tried to pull herself out onto the narrow window ledge. No one spoke, not Baynara, nor Aunt Ulia, nor the fishermen as they walked slowly through the blood-drenched house. They passed Tay's sick room, its door broken open, and no one within. When they heard the sound of footsteps in Baynara's room down the hall, they approached slowly, cautiously, with great dread. The priestess from the docks was standing by the bed. In her hand was the silver ring Baynara had taken from Tay's finger. In her other, a long curved blade, splashed like her once pristine gown with gore. She smiled prettily and bowed when she saw she was no longer alone. Acra! I should have recognized you by Tay's description in his letters, Baynara said in her steadiest voice. Where is my cousin? I prefer to call myself Dagoth Acra, she replied. Your false cousin, my true brother, has already gone to fulfill his destiny. I'm sorry you were not here so he could give you a more permanent farewell. Baynara's face twisted in fury. She motioned for the fishermen, who advanced with their weaponry. Tear her apart! The 6th house will rise again, and Dagoth Tython will lead us, Acra laughed. Her words were still echoing as she gave the sign of recall and vanished like a ghost. Oh dear. Oh dear. Things have got a little bit out of hand, I think. Okay, so that's the Poison Songbook 5. Elwynn has a bottle of wine here to keep him company. We'll wait for Berlina, wait for midnight, and see what happens here in this trading post. Well, Berlina's made it. Elwynn is well rested, refreshed, and it is now 11:39 PM, so we just need to wait a little bit longer and hopefully somebody will turn up. The note is here that we found. It did say, meet me here at midnight, so is that midnight every day? Midnight a specific day? We don't know, Berlina, we don't know. All we can do is wait patiently and hope and keep our fingers crossed that somebody turns up. Maybe it's an elaborate trap. Maybe we shouldn't be so eager to see who does turn up. Maybe nobody will turn up. Maybe it's a bloody silly game, and the amount of people that have come here, see that note, and sat here waiting and waiting and waiting, while somebody in the distance laughs to themselves, ah, another sucker. Another sucker in the old game that we're playing has turned up at the old trading post. I'm seeing nobody coming though. Nobody in the distance. No sign of life. Maybe they're behind it. Maybe they're going to be late. Not very punctual. Punctuality is key. I mean, if you're going to put a note that says be here, you know, come at midnight, well then you should be here at midnight, shouldn't you? This is awkward. How long do we give them, Berlina? Do we give them half an hour? Do we give them an hour? If they're not here by 1 o'clock, I always imagine they're not coming at all, which is annoying. And I was having such a good day, ridden a dragon, read a book, had some wine, had a bit of a nap whilst I was waiting for you to turn up. And now the one thing I was looking forward to most, you know, the surprise here. Who's going to turn up in this ramshackle trading post? I'm so eager to find out, and now they're not even coming. Okay. Just while we're waiting, I don't usually like to do things like this, but I do have my PC nearby, and if I'm missing something obvious, to save me having to come back here again, I might be able to ascertain if I need to do something. Okay. 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 It's a good job I checked, isn't it? All that we... Okay. Let me sit back down here. To spare my blushes and to save any sort of backtracking here, all that we expect to find here is a merchant. It is called a trading post, so yeah, a merchant is here. Not every time, but occasionally, between the hours of 12 AM and 6 AM, a merchant will be there. So if that's all we're going to find, well, that's all we're going to find. Elwynn obviously came here, nobody came at midnight, and therefore he has no interest of returning here, assuming that whoever left that note is either moved on or dead. So what the hell are we going to do today now? That was going to be the highlight of my day. Remove. So we have done everything. We have been everywhere. I mean, there's still a few little bits and bobs to sort out. There's still some uncovered locations. But the only thing that I really want to do now is the Colbion Barrow quest. That's the only thing I want to do. And then after I've done that, I'm quite happy to press on with confronting Mirak. And we've done a little bit of freeform exploration. I don't want to do too much.
Mogul says pay up. We figure we can just take it off your corpse.
That's really not going to be happening anytime soon, I'm afraid. Wow. Wow, okay. We're playing this game, are we? That's the best Mogul can do, eh? I'm gonna loot their corpses, I won't even waste my blooming time. Right. Come on, Blina. It's back. Back to Raven Rock for a little bit of rest, and then we shall head out in the morning for maybe one last little foray into Skullstein